This video was brought to you in part by the supporters of the AMTV Patreon. Thank you. Hey up everyone, it's Adam Martyn here, and hello baby, we got season 22 coming to Blu-ray, oh my god! For those of you who might not know, season 22 ranks as one of my all-time favourite Doctor Who seasons, not just Classic Who, of all time. That's probably because a lot of the stories were some of the first Classic Who stories I watched as a kid, primarily Revelation of the Daleks, The Two Doctors, Attack of the Cybermen, so many great hits, and it has been announced that season 22 is going to be the next one released in the Blu-ray range. We don't have a release date as of yet, it's merely coming soon. I'd like to think maybe it's not too far off. They usually do these announcements, well, typically I'd say between 3 and 6 months when they're coming out, so hopefully sometime in the next few months we'll get a release. It has all the stories, of course, from season 22, that being Attack of the Cybermen, Vengeance on Varos, The Mark of the Rani, The Two Doctors, Time Lash, and Revelation of the Daleks. And just on those stories, Revelation of the Daleks is honestly a contender for the most underrated Classic Who story, I think. It's actually wonderful. Attack of the Cybermen I love dearly despite its flaws. Vengeance on Varos is a nice look at like the sick, twisted worlds Doctor Who can do. The Mark of the Rani is just a good old romp with not just the Master but also the Rani. Kate O'Mara is fantastic. The Two Doctors might be my favourite multi-Doctor special ever. Patrick Troughton and Colin Baker are fantastic, and the whole thing with the Sontarans. Yes, you could argue it's a bit convoluted, but it's a lot of fun. And Time Lash maybe Time Lash, but it's a lot of, again, just a lot of fun. Paul Darrow's in it, man. You can't go wrong with Paul Darrow. And as usual with these Blu-ray sets, it's going to be chocker full of extras. It's an 8-disc set. From the pictures here, we can see that Vengeance on Varos has 2 discs, and the other one that has 2 discs, I believe, looking at this, is The Two Doctors, which is very interesting. So, according to the press release, the new features, we have brand new documentaries, including a making-of for The Two Doctors, which is going to be great. So, Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant are going to go to season 22's filming locations. I love it when they go to locations from where they film this, so that's going to be great. You've got 3 in conversations, not just 1. They normally go 1 per box set, but it's Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, and a surprise guest. It's funny how they say a surprise guest. It has already been revealed to us. It's going to be, well, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to wait. I will tell you, but I'll tell you in a few minutes, because it's quite interesting. You've got Behind the Sofa, of course, which is a staple at this point. So it's got Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Terry Malloy, who played Davros, which is his first contribution, I think. You've got Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Sarah Sutton. Always a great trio to watch this stuff. And Sylvester McCoy and Wendy Padbury, which will be a nice mix. You have extended episodes, including Vengeance on Varos, The Two Doctors Part 1 specifically, and Revelation of the Daleks Part 1 also. Love a good extended mix. You have updated special effects. You can view Time Lash with optional new effects. I know some people are saying, is that not going to be the case for more stories? But I think, let's be honest, out of all of the stories of this season that needed updated special features, it's probably going to be Time Lash. So the new commentaries, there's one for Revelation of the Daleks with Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Alexei Sale and Terry Malloy, which will be a lot of fun, I'm sure. And one with Colin Baker, Janet Fielding and Gareth Jenkins on a fix with Sontarans, which is a little mini-sode. We'll talk more about that in a minute because that's also caused quite a stir. There's new surround sound for Attack of the Cybermen, Vengeance on Varos and Revelation of the Daleks. The Eternal Mystery, which is like the trailer for this box set, which I'll talk about in a minute also. There's studio footage, rare behind-the-scenes material from Vengeance on Varos, The Two Doctors, Time Lash and Revelation, which is always fun to watch, see how they made these programs. There's convention footage. I love these convention segments because it just gives you an insight into what the convention circuit was like. It features Colin Baker and Jacqueline Pierce alongside the producer JNT. There's rare gems from the archives, so including the Colin Baker years VHS, nice they've put that on there, and content covering the season promotion and the controversial hiatus, so there'll be lots there for sure. Slipbacks on here, the radio adventure that was part of the hiatus period, nice to have that on there as well. You've got HD photo galleries, info text and scripts, costume designs, rare BBC production files and other rarities from the PDF archive. There's actually lots. I think it said in the trailer over 5,000 pages, which is absolutely insane. Now, just briefly, let's talk about some of the key points on here. So the surprise guest in the In Conversation series is Michael Grade. And if you don't know who Michael Grade is, he's been in television for decades. He's been in charge of the BBC, been in charge of Channel 4, executive producer of ITV. He's been around, and in the 80s, he was controller of BBC One, and he was responsible for putting Doctor Who on hiatus for 18 months. It was quite known that he didn't really like Doctor Who at that point in time, and, scheduled it across Coronation Street in the late 80s, which killed it off. So, but we've never really had, on like a Doctor Who product, an interview with him discussing it in depth. And a lot of people have said, why on earth have they contracted or paid Michael Grade to do this, blah, 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 blah. I think it's always important to hear both sides, and I'd personally be very interested to hear Michael Grade's, reasoning and thought, especially thoughts on this now, nearly 40 years later. His thoughts might have changed, his thoughts might remain the same, but I, for one, am very curious, and I'm actually quite excited to see this interview when the set's released. Also, you gotta love his laugh. Now, the other main thing that's been a bit controversial is the inclusion of a fix with Sontarans. Now, again, a bit of context. So, back in the day, there was this show called Jim Will Fix It, the host of which has been revealed to be
big fucking strokey nonce.
And this minisode starred Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor and Janet Fielding as Tegan, and they allowed a young fan, Gareth Jenkins, to be in the TARDIS set, do a little minisode of them where they fight with the Sontarans. It's really sweet, it's really cute, and the Sixth Tegan dynamic is to die for.
You know me, Doctor? All charm, all heart.
All mouth.
But of course, when this was originally released on DVD, it was on the Two Doctors back in 2003, and at this time, the actions of the host of this program were not known. And when it did become known, they re-released the Two Doctors without the special feature at all. Now, it's included here, but obviously they're going to trim it. The only main parts that the host appears is at the very beginning and at the very end. The beginning shouldn't be a problem, and to be honest, thinking about how this plays out, here's my interpretation of where I think they'll cut the segment.
How did you know about the coaxial stabilizers, the acid inducers, the mandrel condensers, and the other things?
Well, I've seen you fly the TARDIS on telly.
Now, I've seen some people saying it shouldn't be on here at all. That's, I personally don't mind it being here, provided that we don't, see the host at all. There might be a caption mentioning it, I'm not too sure. What's interesting is, as well, they say there's going to be commentary with Colin Baker, Janet Fielding, and Gareth Jenkins. Cool to Gareth Jenkins, by the way, who's obviously, he'll be a grown-up now, but it'll be interesting to hear them talk about this. And do you know what, though? Even if they don't show the host in this version of Fix with Sontarans, I do wonder if they'll mention it, because obviously it's quite a controversial thing. So it has upset some people that a Fix with Sontarans is going to be on here. Again, my stance is if they include it but manage to cut around it where the host isn't seen or mentioned, then I personally don't have a problem with it, because the actual little scene is quite fun. It's a fun, cute little scene with the Dr. Tegan and Gareth. And, it'd be nice to have it in some form, but yeah, please anticipate that it probably will be cut in some form, or if not, it will probably be, captioned, give you a bit of context, but I think there's no harm with cutting the beginning and the end. The last thing I want to talk about is the trailer for this, The Eternal Mystery, where we see the return of Nicola Bryant as Perry, which is fantastic. We haven't really seen her return to the screen as Perry since she left. Well, you've got Dimensions in Time, of course, which is canon. But, it's been nearly 40 years, and to see Nicola clearly relishing playing Perry on screen again, it's just wonderful. It warms my heart to no end. And I love how they tie it in with season 23 and how, she had Yrcanos, and after Yrcanos passed, she went away again. And the music score in this as well, the music is fantastic. It's just such a powerful little mini-sode, and I highly recommend you go and check out this trailer. It's on, all of the Doctor Who YouTube channels, The Eternal Mystery, and it'll be on the box set as well, of course. Wonderful stuff. So yeah, that is what we know so far of the Season 22 box set. As I've said, really exciting. I'm personally very excited to see this come to fruition. This is one of my all-time favourite Who seasons. Sadly, again, at the minute, we don't have a release date. I'd like to think maybe within the next 2-3 months, because it's implied, usually when they announce these, it's implied that most of the features and whatnot are done. But again, it'll come out when it comes out. But here in the UK, you can pre-order it from HMV, you can pre-order it from Amazon, I'm presuming you can pre-order it from Zavi as well. But let me know in the comments, are you excited for Season 22? Were you happy this is the next one release? Are you going to pick this up straight away? Are you going to wait for the standard edition re-release, which will probably come 1 or 2 years later? But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this as well. It'd be great to have your feedback, and do subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.